Hello, everyone, and welcome to 4pixels. Your host Kime and Coco are here, and we have our guests Layfilay and Buttons. We're continuing the letter. Let's just.
Yes, we are. And we just share a lot of
Me,
creepy pictures.
please.
So we're in the right mood.
I've always been cautious and careful, cutting off trouble's head before things can get escalate. What? Oh, because I can't read. Hello. Before things can escalate if I'm able. That's why I deal with the likes of Harvey, Suarez, and Johans. For all who we are, for all the enemies the likes of us can make, such a thing has never happened before, because I do everything to make sure it doesn't happen. So to see Hana in danger, I don't quite know how to feel or what to do. Of all the times for there to be a hostage situation, if this even is one, why now? Good fucking god! What is going on here?
Help me. Please. Please make it stop.
I think death would be preferable if my sense of self-preservation was shot to high hell. It would deprive me of choice and of responsibility in the matter. And I don't want to think about how fast my heart beats, so that I hardly hear anything other than my own heartbeat and her pleading.
Please. They're in my head. Screaming. It hurts so much.
What do I do? What can one do against something holding your life in their hands? With a woman that looks more monster than man? When her expression turns into one of amusement and her horrific laughter fills the air, I'm torn apart. This is my fault, isn't it? Hana is in danger because of me. Everybody I love always ends up hurt or worse. And even when I choose to let her go, she is no exception. Hana's unbroken begging makes it all the much more painful. Because I still love Hana. I really do. But will I really endanger myself for a woman who might not love me back anymore? Still, something in me dies a little when that woman laughs as if this is all some sick joke. Her smile taunts me, filling my head with laughter and rage until I can barely think over the cacophony in my head. And the way the woman looks at me, it's as if she's watching, waiting for my next move.
Please. Someone. Anyone. Help me.
This is crazy. And I don't know what I should do. I know for a fact that one shouldn't aggravate a hostage taker. There's no winning an argument with someone who holds a life easily taken. But I need to do something, right? I just have to.
Mm.
No.
It's hard because, obviously, we want her to release her, but since we know how hot the ghost seems to be on Luke and how much he seems to hate Hannah.
I'm still thinking the first one because otherwise, the ghost might just be like, "Oh, you don't care very well, then snap."
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true.
I say be daring. Let's go with the first one.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking die.
Oh,
Ooh, that went up a lot.
what am I doing? Why am I even hesitating? I wouldn't go so far as to claim that I'm any sort of decent human being. I realize now, too, that I may not have been the best husband one could ask for, but she's still my wife. And even if she wasn't, she's still Hana. Can I really live with myself if I just stood by idly while she was in danger? That doesn't change the fact that this is all fucking insane, of course. Having all these intruders is crazy. To think about going at this thing is crazy. I can hardly classify it as a person in my eyes. Perhaps a maggot that needs to be crushed under my shoe, just like the rest of this sorry lot. But a person? Hardly. But I cared none for any of it. They didn't matter. All that matters is that Hana is in danger. but cold pours over me, freezes me in place once more when I try to make demands. I have to take deep breaths, grit my teeth, and steel my fist to even find the courage to speak up.
Let go of her! Don't hurt her! Whatever it is you want! Just don't you dare hurt her!
And if my voice isn't as firm as I'd like, it doesn't matter. I will beg and plead if I have to. On my knees, bend my fucking proud neck and maybe even break it, just to make sure she's safe. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to Hannah. The cold stillness is gone from my body and my very skin feels like it's on fire. And I have to shout, scream at her when Hannah continues to cry out in pain.
What do you want? Money? Is that it? I'll give you however much you want.
Luke,
Clearly a
please
ghost
make
wants
it
money.
stop. I wanted to stop.
Just stop whatever it is you're doing to her. Can't you see she's hurting?
This voice actor is really good.
Yeah, Luxburg's actor is like amazing.
I cannot stand for this.
Let go of her! Now!
I say it with such ridiculous conviction, and of course she won't listen. Why would she? She has the upper hand here. There's no reason for her to do as I ask. But her voice is but a whisper and deathly slow, and I'm hard-pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks. The woman from the gardens and the servant girl from the ballroom. From the hallucination, vision, memories, whatever they were. A hush settles over the room as we listen.
She does not love you anymore. You are nothing to her. And you wish to have her back.
There are no second thoughts.
Be that as it may, I still love her. And I will make you rue the day you were born if you don't let her go.
Damn!
God damn!
A life for a life.
Though her expression doesn't change, I have this most awful feeling that it wasn't the answer she was looking for. I can see how the woman's fingers tighten around Hannah's throat, hear the hitch in her breath, and I fear that I've made the worst decision in speaking out. I didn't think she would listen. Yet she does.
Oh no, don't you fucking dare.
A hand on Hannah's back sends her falling down the stairs. I move to catch her, and that sends us both sprawling at the foot of the stairs. With my back to the ground and her on top of me, the pain doesn't even register in my head. All I can worry about is Hannah as I pull the both of us off the ground and away from the stairs. Away from her.
Are you alright, Hannah? Are you hurt?
It takes much too long for my liking before she speaks. All she's able to do for a moment is whimper in pain, a hand to her throat. And when she does manage to speak, her voice is far too faint along with the hold she has on my arm. It's terrifying to see her like this, and to think I nearly lost her for good.
Luke, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. She just...
It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. This isn't your fault.
For a moment, we forget. But
You deserve each other.
hearing her voice triggers something in Hannah, and she starts to tear up. Her voice contorts into one of pain and fear. But I grab her by the shoulders to keep her in place so that she can see me and only me, and so that I can only see her too.
Look at me, Hannah. Look, I'm here. You're safe. I won't let her hurt you again. You understand? Just breathe.
I don't know exactly what in bloody hell is going on. Yet I can't find it in me to care. Whoever these people are and whatever they're here for. This is not acceptable. For all I know, this is all some dumb charade to get to me. All the times I've seen the woman before, it could have all been an act to get to me, to get under my skin. And you think they dare hurt Hana? For all that the fear that I've had felt, seeing her touch Hana, I can only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not having quite gone, but anger fills me as I look at the woman, a sneer on my face.
How dare you? I don't care who you are, but how dare you touch Hana? I want you out of my house, out before I call the police and have you put away for the rest of your miserable life. And that goes for all of you!
I hold my ground firm and strong with my declaration. What the nerve of her! She just laughs in my face. A terrible, dreadful laugh that makes me feel as if there are ants crawling on my skin and maggots squirming into my ears.
You are telling me to get out of your house? You threatened to lock me up.
She laughs, and she laughs.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? None of this is funny!
But she persists, and it almost feels like her voice is in my head.
Oh, no different. No different. You're all the same. You can all suffer together.
Whoa. And that is when everything turns to complete and utter shite.
Wait, it wasn't already?
Whoa, man.
Ooh!
It's a slow thing. A whisper more than a bang as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room.
Look at Zach.
I know, poor baby.
Look at Marianne.
What are you
Not doing great.
This whole
Just dying
scene is
there.
really good, because, like, this is, I think, the only art I've seen that Luke looks, like, genuinely
Worried.
victimed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the journal entry before we continue?
Ah, right.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here. Angered, Luke demanded for Hannah's release from the woman. Although the woman eventually released his wife, there was anger and contempt in her face. All of a sudden, the whole house shifted. In a blink, blood and gore was everywhere.
Can I just say, the art
Yep.
from the other page looks like she's hanging.
Yup.
Oh yeah.
And that's terrifying to me.
The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if it's just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of the thunder and the lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's hard walls. All of it has been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voice that neither belongs to us nor to the people who live here.
What's going on?
All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up on each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane! Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily while Steel and Feather stand protectedly in front of the two. Brave of them, I have to admit, to put themselves in the front line like that. Though it doesn't necessarily mean they don't feel the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't blame them for. There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away! No, no, no! Stay away! Stay away!
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there's nothing but silence, her horrid smile, and a pale hand reaching out to me. Calling. Beckoning. Pleading. I'm terrified. I really am, like I should be. But I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I have long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner does not keep me safe and will not keep me alive. Not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood we share? This is your home. Don't you remember? You promised to return, to stay, together with me, with us, with people no different from you.
What is she talking about, Luke? What does she mean?
Don't listen to her, she lies! I promised no such thing to anyone. Hannah, you're the one who bought this house. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? In my entire lifetime, I've only made and kept a sincere promise to a mere two people. Hannah Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. The rest of those who claim I've promised anything to them can go fuck themselves. Bloody hell. I may enjoy the company of women, but I am not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I am to keep myself alive. Yet she still goes on, insists, making me appear a liar in front of these people.
Of course you still deny it. Have you truly forgotten? You haven't changed, I see. Still a deceiver.
She's lying!
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes? Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again. Her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spreading across her face. My body's already moving on instinct, stumbling back, one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her. Anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here. Not anymore. Nothing to keep me tied to this place. With Hannah planning to leave me, shock and likely taken by this woman, nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave. I can...
Careful, Luke.
My footsteps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, a familiar one, flutters down. It's this thing again from the open house, though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat, what with recent events. It must have fallen from one of these peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment they appear conflicted to see it in my hands, but wisely keep their opinions to themselves. Leaving the damn thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me! Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shite? Because of some stupid old letter. An invitation indeed. One I am not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, the smile never leaving her. But I don't. I won't give her the chance. I am not dying here. I am certainly not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. Adrenaline kicks in, and despite panicked gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and... without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds like I am expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room.
What?
Excuse?
Since when did this become some, like, Hunger of Hadar level spell?
Right? Shit. None of us even get to scream when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement. Using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only some of us in this room. 4 of them friends at that. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. Bloody hell. Even Hannah's giving me the same look as them now. Though Mint has already gone loon, crouching in a corner and muttering to herself, you can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading looks Lily shoots my way while they all huddle in the corner behind steel and feathers. But I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse. Why? Even Hannah has her cunning, manipulative moments, though she does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now that she and her friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything that I've built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You, all of you, this is all your fault. If I'm dying to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me.
Luke, please put that knife away. This isn't going to solve anything.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, or this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened!
All right then. Is your life all that matters to you?
What about these people here? Don't they have the same problem? What about me, Luke? Do you even care?
Are you taking their side? You're also stuck in this nightmare, Hannah. That creature is out to get us, and you're still defending these people.
I'm not defending anyone, Luke. I'm just trying to be reasonable when you're clearly not.
Oh, of course you're not. You're just the one who bought this bloody mansion to begin with. If I didn't know any better, you did this on purpose.
Why, no. Why would I ever do that? This was only meant to be an anniversary gift. For you. For us. For the family we're going to have.
Right, anniversary gift. Oh, here's your gift, darling. Oh, by the way, there's a curse included in that package. I hope that's all right. Are you really that eager to get rid of me, Hannah? Because if that's what you've been meaning to do all this time, you might as well just put a knife in my back while I'm...
Nice! Suddenly, Hannah steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand. Said knife slides uselessly under the table, out of my reach. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes in the side of my head, sending me reeling backwards.
Yeah! Oh, yeah! Nice. Soul fist.
She merely stands before me afterwards, without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off this instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke. Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way.
That Hannah is never the weak woman I believed her to be. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I could look up to, isn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall facing a man like me, same way she has done so all those years ago, I can't help but think, am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright. What a bunch of shite. Figures why she always wanted to leave me.
And these people are only trying to help us.
Oh, of course, by barging into our home. Are you really going to trust them to save your life? These peasants who brought this pox upon us.
Keep talking about us like that, and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
Rebecca, stop! All of you, stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She's always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or her station in life. She has never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. If anything, that meltdown she had during the open house had only proven my assumption. Until now. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting what other scathing words we've yet to hurl at the other. The way she glares at me, it reminds me a little of the way my own mum would look at me. Particularly when I've done something wrong, and it's not a stare she's unused to showing. She has done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. If she only sees us now as a pair of squabbling kids and not too mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Steel, the big oaf, doesn't even dare break it. Neither does Feathers. With both merely watching us. Bunch of wimps, these men. Not that it matters when Lily starts speaking again, after some of the anger and tension has lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper, we...
A deep breath. An exhale. And then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
We still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that. Admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that? An admission? It seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she lets on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't sit quite well with me. And patience is something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the looks of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, moving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me!
Hey, hands off her, right?
Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spread across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damned paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay?
At the mention of a letter, all of a sudden Mint stands. I've almost forgotten she's here. Her ramblings have faded away in the shouting. Without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle it didn't rip right then and there, but the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
We should have gotten rid of this thing! We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got!
No, even if we rip it to shreds, it won't do anything. I think...
You don't know what I've seen, Santos. There were children! Victims! All because they had no idea what this thing will do to them! Oh god, those poor souls! They were screaming and begging before she...
Then what about those people they mentioned in the news lately? All those who died? My coworkers? The open house clients? None of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead. I should know. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here!
Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
I have to go with whiskey on this. Who knows how many has already seen this before you found it? This cursed thing has to go!
We would
Hold
have ended
on.
up here either way.
Hold on. She claimed that Rose didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure that we picked to show the letter to Rose.
Yeah,
we picked
but
to show it
remember,
to the. We picked to show it to the group. Marianne took it.
no.
Both the Wrights saw it.
The thing is that what happened was Rose told us to go to the car to get some papers she had. So we went to get those papers to give to the Wrights, and the letter was in there. Then the choice we had during that time whether to show it to Rose or not. We chose to show it to Rose, but even if you
Yeah.
hand it to her, she doesn't look at it. She just snatches it away and folds it up.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. That makes more
Maybe-
sense.
I really don't know. Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else that...
This place.
Steele has been quiet this entire time, but the sound of him talking, however whispered it is, still manages to catch us all off guard. We all pause, turning to him with likely the same questions in our eyes.
What?
I mean, I just remembered something a friend told me. You know, stuff about ghosts or curses, you probably don't want to hear it.
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach?
There's still a moment where he hesitates, but Lily's urging eventually spurs him into speaking.
Remember what I told you the last time you and Ash visited? A few days ago?
You mean what Andrew told you? Those were just stories, Zach. It might not even help.
Are you sure?
Yeah, right?
Like, at this point, are you really going to try and throw out any possibilities?
This boy.
Regardless, Steele pauses while he allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her, and her face lights up with something like hope? Of all things? In this nightmare, hope? Her head snaps up, and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance? Or confirmation? The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glances at them, baffled.
Belle, what are you... Becca, it's this place. What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value.
What? No? We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this!
Seriously, Luke, are you really more worried about that?
Buttercup, Marching, millions! It's gonna take years getting all that money back!
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead.
True. Not wrong.
Luke, is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
It's not only that. Think about it.
Then, they proceed to tell some ridiculous narrative about the supernatural. Stories about ghosts, legends, curses born out of great anger and pain. Whatever else people use to scare children. Not that I believe any of it. As if knowing will help. Bunch of loons, these people. Officially off their rockers. To think I'll be stuck in this nightmare with people like them.
Supernatural? Nah.
I mean, there's only a ghost lady who, like, tried to kill your wife, but you know.
And you were transported to another dimension with black tentacles and blood and gore everywhere.
And also, you know, strange ghost people dancing around in the ballroom.
Plus that maid in the garden that went real creepy.
Yeah. Supernatural? Nah.
What did I ever do to the world?
Do you want an alphabetized list, or should I just list it off at random?
You'll be talking forever.
Of course, it's all absurd until... I think it's just like what the professor guy said. Just like that old story. This mansion and some other thing might be keeping her here. You know, something he wanted in life, but never got to have. Something like that.
Or maybe it's not something, Zachary.
Someone. The who doesn't have to be uttered out loud. There's only one person in this room who that woman calls after. Every single one of them has heard it. Bloody hell. It's the reluctant shift in Daisy's eyes when they flicker over to me, though only briefly. She's also holding information on her own, or perhaps a realization she just had. Doesn't matter. I know when people have slowly started to turn on me. How do they think I lasted in this cutthroat world? Betray them before they do the same thing to you. Put a knife in their back before they can act. Kill or be killed. Survival in a nutshell. What now? Are they going to throw me at that creature? See what happens to save themselves? I am no fool.
No. You're all in on this, aren't you?
Are you people implying that my husband, that we should just...
Of course! Of fucking course!
Luke, that isn't what I...
Are you all going to stoop that low?
It's nothing like that, Ash. All we're saying is that maybe he might be able to do something about this.
Drop it, you guys. We're not leaving anyone here.
Just like that, the bickering begins anew. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to them. To think this is all the solution they can come up with. I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. It doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices have become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out. And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of human. Better find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. None of our choices seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shite about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. If I also have to be the one to make that bloody decision, so be it. Less room for errors, but the only sane one doing the thinking.
Sane.
Yeah. On the off chance I'm wrong? Well, they suggested it. I decide to...
Oh.
Ooh.
burn the mansion.
I abstain from voting.
You can't do that at this point.
No, I abstain because I know too much.
Oh.
Do you want to read the journal first?